What is up, everyone? It is Grimsbeard from Grimsbeard.com, your local shitty little Twitch streamer, twitch.tv/Grimsbeard, and at Twitter at Grimsbeard. That's Grimsbeard. Me. So this is my first video that I'm doing. It's a little game. Brought it from EA Dice. This is their beta of Star Wars Battlefront. And my God, there are problems, there are issues, and there are things that I was looking forward to that are just not going to be there. Let me preface this with that it is fucking Star Wars. It is the coolest intellectual property that you could get your hands on. LucasArts and Disney going to EA and going, oh, make it a game. Make it beautiful. Make it in time for the release of the movie. And it shows. It comes off as a very rushed game. So there's a couple of maps that you can try. There's a couple of modes you can try. I didn't bother playing the co-op survival because really, that's been done. That's in Call of Duty called the zombie mode. However, that said, keep in mind Call of Duty, because I'm going to come back and reference that a few times. And bear in mind that EA makes Battlefield, which is not Call of Duty. So, granted, there's a connection between the two franchises. I suppose you can look that up. So here we are in Star Wars. First and foremost, there is no star to be had. You're on Hoth, or you're on another planet, and you're not fighting anything in space. You're fighting on the ground. There's some vehicle play, but limited. In Hoth, you're going to notice that if you look up, there's a bunch of ships off in the distance that you can't interact with. Above you, there's nothing. Yet whenever anything orbital, like an orbital strike comes in, just random laser beams that fly through the air through nothingness, as though there's something way above the atmosphere, completely invisible to the naked eye. Must be a cloaking device. I think they got their star whatever IPs mixed up, because that sounds more like a Klingon technology more than it does anything else. Regardless, Star Wars Battlefront, my biggest gripe that I have with it is that it just doesn't feel like Star Wars, period. End of story, full stop. It is derivative, it is boring. It feels like it panders to the lowest common denominator gamer who's just going to pick this up because it says Star Wars on it. And that's fine. There are people out there that are going to be just like that and be happy to be just like that. I got no problem with them. I got no beef with them. But I wish that this was going to call out to the Star Wars fan and say, hey, look, you want to be in this universe? Cool beans. Come on in. Here's a blaster. Go nuts. So let's start off with what it's like to be on the ground. So you got the ground game. You can be either Rebel or Imperial. You've got 4 weapons in the beta that you get to play with. Ultimately, though, the best weapon is the 4th unlock. It is super quick. It does low damage, but that low damage can still do a 2-tap headshot with no problem. So might as well go with that. It's super fast, really quick cooldown on it if it overheats. So good gun overall. Now, the other gripe I have as infantry is that you can play in first or third person. As you can see on this screen here, I'm playing in third person. The reason for that is you get no advantage as first person. In fact, you get a limited disadvantage. If you aim down sight, you move a little slower, and if you are in first person, you are limiting your field of view. So going third person is pretty much it. If you run and gun, if you're full sprint and you're spraying your blaster, you are bound to do just as much, if not the same amount of damage as somebody who's stopping and firing. So there is no point in holding up your advance and taking that careful shot. Just keep going. Like, you'll run it, you'll gun it, it'll be great. Now, another problem I have for infantry is that depending on the side you're on, the outcome's already set. If you're playing as the Rebel Alliance, prepare to lose. You will get your asses handed to you on Hoth. Now, that's to be expected. In the Battle of Hoth, they definitely got their butts handed to them. The funny thing is you don't see any of the evacuations from Hoth going on around you, because that's kind of what the soldiers were doing, was preventing the quick advance, so they could get everybody or as many people off that damn planet as possible. But yeah. Moving forward, you get into the vehicles on the ground. You get for the Imperials, you get the AT-AT or the ATST. Great. Little ATST, what a beast. That thing is amazing. It is quick, it is agile, it is effective. I got no complaints with this thing. In fact, it might be overpowered. Compared to the AT-AT, which you can only shoot about 30-degree angles in, which is fine. Yeah, it's more than enough because they're always pointing in the direction of combat, or at least the advance, which is usually where combat is, and they're always pointing in the direction that they're going to pass through anyway, which is in this very tiny map how they've laid it out to make sure you channel your choke points. So you get these massive beasts with 3 firing types. You get the normal cannons, heavy cannon, and then an orbital strike with a 2-minute cooldown or a minute cooldown. And you get in there and you go hog wild. You can get up a lot of kills. I don't like the orbital strike being on the AT-AT. I think that adds too much power because they can go batshit with those because they are impossible to kill. These things don't come down very easily. I've only ever seen one drop, and I've played I think 12 or 13 games now. So, and you see in this video where they get close to dropping one but lose. So yeah, we get this AT-AT. And it can rack up the kills. Now on the Rebel side, you don't get any land vehicles. You get stationary points. You get the stationary covered gun and the stationary satellite dish of doom. The covered gun is nice. It does damage against the infantry. Doesn't do anything against any of the flying vehicles. And the satellite of doom, again, good against some of the vehicle types, but not that great against infantry because infantry spreads out. They are easy to kill. They're in one spot, and yeah, they are super easy to see, and they're near the end of the game anyway. Near the end of the match, that is. Moving on to the air, for the Rebels, you get three different types that you hear of in game, but only 2 are playable. First, Y-Wing, not playable, but you hear about it coming in as it's strafing bombs, ion bombs into the AT-AT to make it vulnerable. 2, you get the X-Wing fighter, which is not nearly as agile as the TIE fighter. Regardless of this video, the first time I ever got shot down by an X-Wing legitimately was in this video. Usually I can run through the skies, no problem, when I'm in a TIE. And then you get the little air snowspeeder thing that turns like a literal brick. And when you watch the source material, you see that these things are able to weave around and do these nice sharp, tight turns. This thing flies like a piece of crap. It slides around everywhere. It takes its time on its turns. It's supposed to take down the Imperial Walker, but I've only ever seen a chance at that once, which is in this video, and I have never seen it again. It can't fight the TIE Interceptor or the TIE Fighter, which are the Imperial flying ships, which are vastly more maneuverable, outgun the other two, and dominate the sky. And if they dominate the sky, well, you're pretty much boned. Because they can also take out those Y-Wings if they can catch them in time. So, what else is there? The terrain, it's not destructible. In 2015, stuff should be destructible. Like, let's be honest. You should be able to blow away a person's cover. You should be able to blow up some of the stuff around you. I'm not saying make it a flat earth kind of game at the end of it, but give me some options. Like, let me blow away somebody's really flimsy cover that they have. Let me melt some snow, for fuck's sakes, with a laser. Now I know that doesn't sound all that likely to happen, but still. I really dislike the heroes in the game too. You got Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Of course, they're going to be running at each other in Hoth. Yeah, remember that story? Luke was definitely combat ready from his time in Hoth, right? You have them running at each other in Hoth. They'll go through everything so fast. However, if they get focus fired, they die wicked quick. But my biggest gripe about them is that they move clunky and they sound clunky. They don't sound like They don't sound like them, and they just don't sound like. All right, so learning curve here. So back to the review. As I was saying, the heroes just do not sound like themselves. They say silly things. They kind of don't sound like they got the voice actors to do it. They probably got Mark Hamill because he's everywhere. I don't think they got Edward James Olmos though. Edward James Olmos. What the hell? James Earl Jones. Edward James. So I've now linked Star Wars with Star Trek at some point, and now Battlestar Galactica. Next up, Babylon 5. Anybody? Stargate? Maybe? Anyway. Yeah, they just sound weird. So, the good things in this game. If you want an arcade shooter, it's good. That'll do. It definitely feels like an arcade shooter. If you were looking for something to fill that void from Call of Duty, if you felt like you just didn't have enough of the Call of Duty from like a decade ago, kind of feels like that too. There's no point in ADSing. There's no point in first person, so definitely the casual arcadey kind of game. That's one of the good things, I suppose. Maybe. I think my favorite thing for sure is the sound work in this. It's beautiful, well mixed. The quality is fantastic. It gets the best closest crack to getting it immersive. Problem is, it's just not enough. It doesn't make it feel like Star Wars enough for me. It makes it feel like just wars with laser pew-pews, which is really sad because this could be so much better than this. It could be so much more than this. But when you get down to it, the game itself just doesn't live up to the expectations that it created for itself. Back a year and a bit ago, they started releasing all the pre-content, all the this is what these land speeders look like when you're driving around in the woods with them. This is what these characters will act like. It just felt like it was EA DICE going, you know what, we really want to reach a target audience that's going to be so happy with this game. And they probably are going to have a few million people who are completely happy with this game. But those people, they're not the same kind of gamer I am, I guess. And I'm not a hardcore gamer that wants to compete in everything. I'm actually pretty casual. I don't really go out there to buy the biggest, baddest game and be the best at it. I look for the experience itself. I look for the playability between all my friends and I go, yeah, this is a good game. This will keep me coming back. But ultimately, last night I found that if you squad up with a couple of buddies, you completely dominate Drop Zone, and you completely dominate the Imperial side of Hoth, which really, ultimately, you really shouldn't be able to do that easily. But yeah, it definitely favors the squad. I don't know if that's mechanical or it's just that we just know each other so well. I think it's probably we just know each other so well, know what we're going to do. So overall, I guess I'm going to rank this out of 10. And the best I can do is a 0.5. And that 0.5 is literally for score. I've already sent him my questionnaire survey. I was not happy with this game. I think it's a big time pass. I don't think anybody should actually come near it or touch it. I don't think it should be downloaded, shown to your friends. Hell, this video probably should be deleted, just as it reminds me of the fact that somebody tried to make yet another Star Wars game, and of course, it didn't work out, which is really, really disappointing. I was hoping for something better. I was hoping for something more, but when you get down to it, no destructible content, no space battles, no storyline, no immersion, no feeling like you're actually doing anything other than just hip firing your way through. Yeah, just a boring game. That's too bad. I was hoping that the EA DICE could help our friends there over the Star Wars community get something cool out just before the movie, and you know it's for the movie because they're rushing like crazy. But yeah, oh well, guess I was wrong. Either way, come back, check out my next review. Hopefully it's going to be something to deal with Fallout. Bethesda hasn't let me down yet. Hopefully they don't let me down anytime soon. Either way, take it easy. Peace.